Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kayden Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here is Brett Perkins. Hey, Brett, how's it going today?
Very, very fine. And how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for asking. So, kind of tell us a little bit on how you got your start in music.
Wow, that was a while back, and I'm told that I sang before I talked. Now that may be just a family myth, but it makes sense because I have a daughter who sang before she talked too, so it runs in the family. So a long time ago. And as far as songwriting, I'm conscious that I wrote my first song when I was 14. Like I actually sat down and wrote something. So that's that was a while back.
Awesome. What is one thing that you most enjoy about working and making your music?
Oh, I would say the life around it, as far as making it. Most all my closest friends have come through music, through touring, through co-writing, through recording. So the community, I would say, is the most satisfying thing. And then, of course, the next song that you're writing that's always an exciting process.
What is your favorite song that you have released, if you have a favorite?
Oh my. Yeah, that's a tough one because, there are moments where I'm in love with a lot of them and moments I'm not. But I would say one of them is I Won't Give Up on Love. That was a duet that I recorded because it was the first time I had a string quartet live in the studio. That was an amazing experience.
If you could duet with any singer, who would it be and why?
Oh, well, the first name that comes to mind, Paul McCartney. I think we'd do killer harmony together.
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, he was a big influence. So when people have done comparisons, I've always taken it as a compliment. I mean, I didn't try, and I probably as a kid did try and sound like him. In fact, I remember singing to those albums, but at this point, I don't think we sound exactly alike, but that's okay.
But hey, that's the whole point of music. You don't want to sound alike.
No.
So.
But on the other hand, we're all standing on the shoulders of the people who came before us, so yeah, nobody's that terribly unique, I suppose.
Where can people find you on social media?
The easiest thing is just to put my name in .com, Brett Perkins, BrettPerkins. Although actually, I was having a problem with that URL yesterday, so maybe that's not the best place. Yeah, because I made it some kind of you change one URL and it's linked to 27 others, and then suddenly it's a waterfall effect. Have Google Brett Perkins. Now the thing is, I find it funny. I have a band called the Pawn Shop Preachers, country band. It's not religious music, but that's the name. Pawn Shop Preachers hopefully gives that away. There is another Brett Perkins. So when you Google my name, there's a guy with the same spelling. He's about 25 years younger than me. He does Christian music. He's a preacher. So people get very confused. And I learned about him for the first time when I went to a gig I had booked in Germany. I was on a tour. I show up, I see my name on the poster, but I'm looking at a photo of somebody a lot younger than me, and I don't recognize him. So they had Googled my name and taken his picture and put it on the poster.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I've been in touch with him, and we had a good laugh about it. The fact that we're both the same. It's weird. I mean, he even grew up in a town that's the same name as the street I grew up on. It gets really conspiracy level. So when you Google Brett Perkins, if it says ministries or Brett Perkins band, that is the Brett Perkins the younger, as I call it, and and I will call myself Brett Perkins the original. That would be the other step. Yeah.
Original 2.0. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that might want to start singing?
Oh, well, first of all, absolutely do it for your own good and your own joy. I think very much, this has been my experience, and I think it's, there's so many in the last, let's say 10, 20 years, the popularity of shows like The Voice and America's Got Talent and all these kinds have on one level encouraged a lot of people, and on another, maybe discouraged people because they're immediately thinking about, will I make it? Will I get high marks? Will I be judged, harshly and all this? And those are reasonable considerations in the business. But before you start thinking about the business, music has existed since the the beginning of civilization. So make a joyful noise to make a joyful noise, and then
Yeah.
find your way. So don't worry about nailing it the first time out. That's
Do
my
you have any new singles or any upcoming projects we can look forward to?
yeah. Actually, there's a new album coming out, and I'm gonna say what's a reasonable date because I'm still working. It always takes me longer than I think. I
Hmm.
believe spring of next year, spring of 2022. It got like a lot of like everybody's projects, it got stalled
I bet. Hmm.
in the last year and a half. So we're
Hmm.
only just gotten back into the studio, and then after a year and a half, you start hearing things a little differently. So it's almost
Hmm.
like we're stepping into a new session. But I'm
Right.
excited. I'm excited about it. It's called Back to the Source. I've got the album artwork finished, and I've got the basic tracks down. So I just need to finish them up.
That's amazing. What are your hobbies and interests outside of music?
Well, my biggest interest is my daughter, who's a
Hmm.
singer and a songwriter, and will be 12 in just a few weeks. And we just took a great road trip through the Southwest in the
Hmm.
U.S. Because she's an American citizen and a Dane. She was born here in
Hmm.
Denmark, where I live, to a Danish mother, and me as an American father. Aside from that, I enjoy producing uh, songwriter festivals where I can present newer, up and coming talent. I do that in several countries, and that's connected to songwriting retreats that I lead in several countries annually. Again, that all stopped for about 18 months too, but it's
Yeah.
kicked up
Hmm.
again now. I just came from doing one in California, and it was an amazing experience. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
What is the best piece of advice another musician has ever given you?
Ah, wow. Uh, well, keep going is what pops into my head. Keep at it because it is a business. It's not if you're after a career of any level, it's not a business for the faint of heart. You're going to get
Hmm.
rejection a lot of the time, and that is just because it's such a subjective thing. If I ask you to list your top 10 favorite songs, they're going to be different than mine, and probably going to be different than most of the people listening to this broadcast. So, and that's the beauty of it. Everyone can find an audience, but it also means that maybe 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10 aren't going to
Hmm.
get what you're doing. So don't take the no's as absolutes. That's my
Hmm.
advice. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Describe your creative process when you make music.
Well, that has changed over the years.
I bet.
It used to be I was very much melody driven. I was singing before I played an instrument, so I started with voice, and I would sort of hum along, have some kind of a hook in my head or some idea. I didn't know what I was going to sing about. It was blah blah words, and then the blah blah words would get shaped into some kind of a rhyme. I might say something common like tonight or I'm feeling all right or whatever, just to get it started. And then I would head on down that path and write the song. And that was satisfying at the time, but it was fairly limited
Hmm.
from a lyrical standpoint. um, years later, I as often will start with a lyric idea. So I'll have an idea of like a line or something. On the Pawn Shop Preachers last album, we were doing country influenced Americana. So, and in country music, you can get away with a lot of tongue in cheek and humor. And there's a lot of
Hmm.
humor on the album. So even the name Pawn Shop Preachers is meant to, denote humor. Um,
Hmm.
so writing songs like I'm longing for a short-term relationship or she loves my belly and my bald spot, these kind of like,
Yeah.
so that people chuckle when they hear it. And so I was coming up with those lines and then writing songs to those lines. So that was a
Hmm.
that was a reversal for me in the process.
Did you play any instruments when you're in school? And if so,
Yeah.
what'd you play?
Well, yeah, it's funny because you say in school. I mean, most of us are handed. Well, in my generation, we were handed a song flute, or that you
Hmm.
carried around in a sock in like first grade. I don't know if that's still done, but and then I attempted to learn the bass clef baritone, which is a somewhat smaller than a full size tuba. It was bigger
Hmm.
than me in fourth
Oh
grade.
wow.
I think it was
Hmm.
my mom's idea. I can't imagine I thought that was a cool instrument or a good idea. And I could barely even lift the case. That didn't go well. That didn't last long. But then I got a bass through the Sears catalog. Back there was a thing called the Sears catalog, and they used to sell musical instruments. and I got a tobacco cherry sunset bass, electric bass, and that was my first instrument that I chose
Mhm.
when I was about 15, and I was practicing, yeah, just playing along to Black Sabbath and stuff that was simple that I could learn, and then yeah, I went on from there to guitar, and then now I play ukulele and percussion, a bit of percussion, but I'm really a singer who uses instruments to accompany himself.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with us today?
Gosh, I feel really fortunate to be making music, and now
Mhm.
I'm 4 decades into releasing my own product. So I'm not as they say, I'm not a spring chicken. But on the other hand, I feel when I play music and when I write it, one of the wonderful things, and I think when you listen to a favorite song, it's
Mhm.
ageless and timeless in a way. So uh, I feel really fortunate to do it, and I encourage anyone who's listening who's an aspiring songwriter or an artist to absolutely pursue their gift. And I'm appreciative of people like yourself who are helping to promote new artists and new music. So thanks for your time.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to say a huge thank you to Brett Perkins for joining me right here on the Kayden Gordon Show today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate your time, Brett.
Thank you.